Fantastic. It's almost like I came from just over there. About 2,000 years ago, or was it last week? No, it was definitely 2,000 years ago. The Romans did something a little bit interesting. They decided that on a day when something really special was going to happen, they would call it a red letter day. And I had a feeling that something special was going to happen today, so I've actually brought with me a red letter. Here it is. And I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. Now, they called it a red letter day, and they started to design calendars, and all of the high days and holidays were colored in red, and we still keep that tradition today. If you look at your calendar on your fridge when you get home, you will see that there are numbers in red for special days. Now, I'm going to show you something that you need a good imagination for. It's a pack of cards, except they're a little bit different from what you might normally see because they're invisible. They're invisible cards. And I'll give this to you, Sam. Would you open up the packet for me? That's good. And take all of the cards out of the box. That's great. And you can leave the box on the table if you like. That's good. Right. Fantastic. Now spread the cards out for me nice and wide in a big, oh, that's very, very, very professional, good. So I want you to imagine that you can actually see all of the faces. And I've done something really smart to help you out here. I've actually kept them in a nice, easy, simple order. So if you look to the left, you'll see all the red cards, and to the right, you'll see all of the black ones. So, in your imagination, I'm going to get you to loosen your grip slightly and let half of those cards, either the red ones or the black ones, just fall onto the floor. We won't need those. Oh, gosh. Now, have you dropped the red ones or the black? You've dropped the reds. Okay, so you've just got the black cards left. Now, you'll notice by looking at those black cards that I was smart enough to separate them into suits. There are clubs on your left and spades on your right. So I'm going to get you to loosen your grip a little bit more and let either the clubs or the spades drop to the ground. Okay, which ones did you drop, the clubs or the spades?
I think it's the spades.
You've dropped the spades. So you're just left there with the clubs. Have a good look at those clubs because there are 13 of them. To your left, they start with the ace, and they go all the way through, right up to the king. And I'm going to get you to drop 12 of those cards on the ground so that you've only got one left. Okay. You've got one club left, right? And which one are you left with, Sam?
3.
The 3 of clubs. I'm going to give you an envelope. It's a little black envelope that's hiding inside the red letter. And I want you to open this up and pop your card inside for me, if you would, please. That's great. And close up the envelope. Just tuck the flap in there. Very good. I might just tuck it right in for us. There we go. And that goes back into the envelope. And I might just put a little dab on there, just enough to close it up. Good. Hold out your hand flat for me, Sam. So I'm going to remind everybody exactly what happened in your imagination. Sam had this pack of cards, 52 of them to start with, and gradually he's let them drop down onto the floor. By the way, you can pick those up and keep them at the end. It's a little prize for you to take home. Until he just ended up with one card left. And that's the card that we put inside the little black envelope, and that's the card that we put back inside the special red letter. Remember, I said something special is going to happen. Watch. That's all I need to do, and hopefully that should be enough. So if it's actually worked, when I open up the envelope this time, inside here, we should see something which is no longer imaginary. It's actually a little bit more real. Inside the envelope, there is, wow, a single card. It's no longer an imaginary card, it's a real card. One single card. Now, because Sam has a very good imagination, if I'm right, this one card inside the envelope should be the 3 of clubs. That was great. Nice work. Nice work. Now, when you're a magician, one of the first things that happens is you generally tend to find other magicians, and they sort of gather in a little group. So there are magic clubs all over the world, meeting in secret locations. They don't tell anybody where they are and what they're doing. And they teach each other how to do tricks. And one of the things they tell you when you first join the club is that there are some rules in magic. There are what they call the golden rules, and there are 3 of them. And these are the golden rules that you must never break. The first thing is you should never tell anybody what you're going to do before you do it. That's the first golden rule of magic. The second golden rule is you must never repeat a trick. You only do it once. You mustn't do it more than once, because otherwise the second time they're going to be watching really closely and they'll know exactly what's going on. The third golden rule is this: you must never tell anybody how you did your tricks. So when you first go along, and I was probably 15 or 16 when I first went to the magic club, so the old guys at the magic club, they drummed these rules into me. And then when you eventually become like me, one of the old guys at the magic club, you realize that the rules are in place to be broken. And so for this trick, I'm going to break not one, but all 3 of those rules. I'm going to tell you beforehand exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it not once, but 4 times. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you, sort of tell you, how I did it. So, a pack of cards. I'm going to have 4 cards chosen from the pack. And I'm going to do this in a really very fair way. I'm just going to riffle through the cards and then stop at a card, and I have 4 people just look at a card. Then I'm going to try to make those cards disappear from this pack and jump into my pocket. Not one, all 4. That's what I'm going to try to do. Let's see how we go. Dale, I'm going to start with you because you're nice and close here. So I'm going to get Dale to look at a card. Would you look at a card? Remember it for me if you would. Good, let it sink into your mind. Alison, I'll get you to do exactly the same thing. You're going to look at a card and remember it. Good. We'll do some over here. Ali, you get to just, and you do have to remember, it's important. Not that I think she's not going to remember it, but good, all right. And Mark's nice and close here. We'll do exactly the same thing with Mark. Remember yours. Okay, cool. Everybody focus on your cards. Concentrate on them. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take out 1 card from the packet. Yeah, all right. Going to remove this. Very good. And now what I'll do is I'll give you each some cards. There's some for you, Dale, some for you, Alison, some for you, Ali, and some for you, Mark. Dale, what was your card?
The 8 of spades.
The 8 of spades. What was your card, Alison?
10 diamonds.
The 10 of diamonds.
4 of clubs.
The 4 of clubs.
6 of hearts.
And the 6 of hearts. So if I really had made all those cards jump into my pocket, that would be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? Didn't anyone tell you that jokers were wild? That's a terrible joke. Dale, your card was the 8 of spades. Everybody have a look at your cards and see if you can find Dale's card, the 8 of spades. Definitely not there? Sounds to me like it's definitely disappeared from the pack. Alison, the 10 of diamonds. Everybody have a look and see if you can find the 10 of diamonds. Ali, I think your card was the 4 of clubs, right? Everybody have a look to see if you can find the 4 of clubs. Definitely disappeared from the pack. Last of all, the 6 of hearts. Mark's card was the 6 of hearts. Take a look and see if you can find the 6 of hearts. Definitely gone. All 4 cards have disappeared from the pack. This is a really good start. But remember, I said they'd be in my pocket, right? So if the 6 of hearts was in this pocket, and the 8 of spades was in that pocket, and the 4 of clubs was in that pocket, and if I'm right, the 10 of diamonds was in that pocket, I reckon that's pretty good, right? Yeah. Now, I did promise you I'd tell you how I did it, and this is how I did it. I used a trick which was published in 1920 by a man called Charles Jordan. The rest of it's your job. All right. Now, this is a crazy, crazy thing. I did already tell you that one of the things that you shouldn't do as a magician is to tell people what's going to happen before you do it. But with this is one of the newest things I have. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen before it happens. I've switched to this pack because I want you to see that it's a shuffle pack of 52 cards. And I want you to have a good look and make sure that they're all there. I'm not going to yes, I'm not going to get you to count them, but have a good look and you'll see that there's hearts and diamonds and clubs and spades and all of the cards are still in the pack. And this envelope, you can listen very carefully and you can hear there is a single card inside this envelope. Not only that, but you can see it. It's one single card. Now I'm going to leave the envelope on the table. And I'm going to have somebody help with this. Mark, you're nice and close. Let me give you the cards. Now, I did say I was going to tell you what was going to happen before you did it. So I'm going to ask you to deal the cards one at a time onto the table in a pile. And when you do that, I'm going to tell you that the card that you stop at and the card that's in that envelope will be a perfect match. That's a big call, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see how we go. One at a time, deal the cards onto the table. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. Let's deal them face up. The tension's killing me. All right. Now, I'm just going to stop you for a second. And I'll tell you why I'm doing that. Because the interesting thing is, 90% of the people that I ask to help with this trick stop in the first 10 or 20 cards. By the time I get to about, sort of halfway, almost everyone stopped. But you're still dealing, Mark. And I did say you could stop anywhere you liked. Right? I did say that. And you can. But I just want to remind you what I said at the beginning. The card that you stop at and the card in this envelope will be a perfect match. That's exactly what I said. So if I was to stop, if you were to stop at the 5 of diamonds, for instance, I would have the 5 of hearts in this envelope. They're going to be a perfect match pair. I'm curious. And I'm going to ask you at the end. Keep dealing, but stop any time you like.
We're going to get 3 more. 1, 2, 3.
Now you've dealt away there's got to be about 30 cards there. I'm going to get you in a second. I'm going to get you to turn over the next card, but don't do it just yet, because I did say that I was going to make this as fair as I possibly could, and that's what we've done, right? It's pretty fair. Now, the only way this could be completely fair would be if I showed you the card that I've got in the envelope first, right? That's the only way it would be completely fair. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is the card that's in the envelope. It's the 10 of hearts. So if that card's the 10 of diamonds, I think you'd agree that would be a miracle. Turn it over. Let's take a look. Now I'm going to show you one of my oldest tricks. And I know what you're thinking. This probably doesn't look like it, but this is actually a card trick. It's a can of food, right? And you'll probably guess by now that I like to sort of take risks with my life. I'm never quite sure what the day is going to bring. And this is one of the things I do. I take all the labels off my food. That way, when I get home for dinner, I'm never quite sure what I'm going to eat until I open the can. Yeah, I'm a thrill seeker, you can tell, right? Now, as I said, it probably doesn't look like it, but it's a card trick. And here's a pack of cards. So we're going to have a card chosen, but I want to do this in the fairest possible way. So we'll start with Al. Al, I want you to tell us whether the card that we're going to choose is going to be a red one or a black one.
Black.
A black card. All right, Diana. We know it's going to be a black card. It's going to be either a club or a spade. What should we have? A club. All right, very good. Ali, we know it's a club, and you're going to decide whether it's going to be a picture card or a spot card. What should we have? A picture card. All right, so a club, a picture card. We're down to the last three. Zara. Club, picture card. It's going to be either the jack, the queen, or the king of clubs. What should we have? The king of clubs. Now, I think you'll agree that's about the fairest way that we could possibly have a card chosen. And we now know that the chosen card's the king of clubs. Just to show you how crazy I am, I'm going to show you this pack of cards because I've done something a little bit strange. On every single card, I've written something on the back. So this is the two of clubs. We could easily have chosen that because it's another club card. On the back of this one, I wrote prunes. On the back of the three of hearts, I wrote tomatoes. On the back of the four of hearts, I wrote beetroot. There's something different written on the back of every card. Let me show you them. This one says mushrooms and chicken soup and nectarines. There's sweet corn and garden peas, mandarins, mushy peas. There's, yeah, you get the idea, right? There's something different written on every card, something that you would find in a can. There's pinto beans, green beans, refried beans. There's a lot of beans, by the way. I was in Mexico when I first came up with this idea. I was on an Air Mexico flight. They served tacos and chimichangas on the plane. Let me tell you, there was more turbulence on the inside of that flight than there was on. So we're going to find the card that we chose between us, which is the king of clubs. There's a six, there's a jack. There's the queen, could easily have been chosen. The king of clubs. Goodness. Oh, there's a spade. Ah, there it is, king of clubs. Dale, would you grab that out nice and loud so everyone can hear? What does it say on the back?
Pineapple.
Pineapple. It says the word pineapple. I wonder. It's a 1 in 52. There's 5 people that help me to choose. I don't want to make a mess on my special table, so let's take a look and see if the one card that we've somehow managed to choose between us has the word pineapple written on the back. Yeah. And the only magician that brings his own dessert. Thanks for helping with that, Dale. You get a can of pineapple to take home. I'll keep it for you till later. No questions apart from how did you do it?